And so John was the one who gave me the stats on what happens when people inherit money. And I asked John to write this book because we do need his perspective, the financial planner's perspective of what's going on in the economy. And it's especially true today for the baby boomers, 46 to 64 age group, because we're set to retire. And the boomers had it the easiest of all generations. When we came out of high school, college and high school, we put money in the stock market, everything went up. We bought houses, everything went up. And now it's about to come down. So that's why John's perspective is very important. So John wrote the book. Show us your book, John, and
yeah,
what's in it.
It's the top 10 reasons the rich go broke. Powerful stories that'll transform your life forever.
So the reason John does that is he's over the years, he's been talking to a lot of my age group, boomers who are rich, but they suddenly go broke. So on yesterday's tweet, on the eve of Halloween, or it was Halloween 2021, I just tweeted John's fact.
Only getting worse, Robert. And I think it's so important that you're doing this show, especially given the amount of assets that are going to transfer from one generation to the next as the baby boomers retire and get older, passing that wealth on to their kids. We also have athletes and entertainers and other people that are making a lot of money when in a very short period of time, it's gone. In fact, it's not even gone. They're broke and even bankrupt. So, we talk a lot about the professional athletes. In the NFL, 78% of NFL football players will go bankrupt within the first couple of years. 78%. Now, keep in mind, the average NFL football player has made $6 million over a 3-year time period. They don't last very long in the NFL because it's such a physical sport. So 3 years in the NFL, they've made $6 million, and within 2 years, it's gone. In the NBA, the numbers are a little bit better. Within 5 years, 60% of NBA players will be bankrupt. 60%. And they last a little bit longer in the NBA, and they make more. The average amount somebody will make in the NBA is north of $25 million of years. It's really unbelievable. I mean, it affects the entertainment world. It affects lottery winners. Lottery winners, 70% of their money's gone within a couple of years. So this is a train wreck for so many people, and it's unnecessary. So I'm glad you're doing this.
And then also he talked about inheritances, because dealing with guys my age, I should be retired at this moment. But what's going to happen when you talk to guys my age with money, a lot of them aren't prepared for what's coming. Boomers.
First of all, you'll never retire. That's a fact. Those words just don't work with you. But in the inheritance world, I saw it on a regular basis dealing with my clients and having worked with thousands of individuals of all walks of life and demographics. The statistics that I last heard was that 77% of inherited money is gone within the first 3 years. It's like giving a child a handgun. It's just dangerous, and it's going to destroy their life. You look at lottery winners and you interview them after they've won that money and they've dealt with that money for some time. Most of them will tell you they wish they had never won that money to begin with, because it's ruined their lives. It's led to suicide, depression, addiction, family problems, all kinds of, because they're not prepared. And, we could go back to the school system as a culprit behind this. So, that's why it's so exciting to be a part of the Rich Dad organization. So.
And then also, when you talk to boomers my age, since most of them have never really had a hard time.
No.
They've had booms and busts and things like this, but not like we're in right now.
No, it's a great point. As I talk about in my book, the old paradigm of getting a job or, going to college, getting your degree, getting a job, working for 30 years, retiring with your watch and a pension, that just doesn't work anymore. And maybe some savings that you've accumulated over time. We talk about the financial world, it's the three-legged stool. It's the company pension, it's the government pension, in our case, Social Security, and then it's personal savings with no safety net. It's just because pensions, as we've talked about many times, those are going away. Companies aren't offering them anymore. And the ones that are available are severely underfunded. And these promises that these companies or governments or school or unions or what have you that promise their people, it's in writing, it's guaranteed, they're being challenged in court and they're winning. Or I should say the people that have worked hard are losing in these court cases, and they're seeing their pension benefits cut significantly. Then you have Social Security, which is our system here in the US. It's not my guess, it's not conjecture, just mathematically that will be bankrupt in 2034. That's 11 years. And now the third leg of the stool, which is supposed to be a leg, it's personal savings. The average individual could not come up with $500 for an emergency expense. 65% could not come up with $500 for an emergency expense. So it is a train wreck coming. And that, like you said, that old paradigm, get a job, work for 30 years and retire, does not work, period. And I've just seen it time after time after time.
And it is a train wreck. And you talked to Ted Siddell. Ted Siddell is a SEC attorney, Security Exchange Commission. And we wrote the book, Who Stole My Pension? Mm-hmm. And you talk to him a lot because it's right up it's your strike zone, right? These pensions that.
I mean, if I was 40, 50, even 60 years old, relying on some pension, I'm playing Russian roulette with my financial future, really. These pensions, the money that goes into these pensions, it's invested in the stock market, okay? Stock and bond and real estate market. And a lot of that money is sitting in fixed income or bonds. And bonds, as we all know, earns next to nothing. A 30-year treasury is 3%, 2.5%, last I looked. So what these pensions have to do is they have to take extraordinary risk in other parts of their portfolio, hedge funds, private equity, and all of these exotic financial instruments, in order to get that higher rate of return to make up for the shortfall of their bond portfolio. And so we're seeing a lot of tumultuous activity in these pension plans. And the bottom line is they are just not funded properly. They don't have enough money to pay out their benefits. That's why we're seeing these benefits that were promised.
Talking to Ted, and you say it goes to the government, the people that manage the government employee pension plans, and they're in cahoots with the Wall Street guys. Mm-hmm. And so they say, so let's say I'm head of the teachers union. And then they turn that account over to, let's say, JP Morgan or something.
Yeah.
You were telling me when we're sitting having breakfast, they start collecting money for future things that haven't even done yet. Something like that. What was that you explained to me?
Yeah, so I was talking to Ted, and he's the leading authority whistleblower in the pension system.
And Ted's the guy, we wrote the book together, Who Stole My Pension?
Yeah.
This is a warning for you. If you have a person who's counting on a big time pension, Ted Siddell's book, Who Stole My Pension, we wrote together. John took it further with Ted.
I could not recommend, if you are reliant on a pension or know somebody who is, I would get your hands on that book as soon as possible. So Ted and I spent quite a bit of time on the phone talking about this stuff, and he goes in and takes deep dives on these pension plans, and he can see firsthand. I mean, he's a master at identifying how these things are so ill managed. Well, he shared with me a lot of these asset managers will come in and they'll get hired by the pension, and the pension will say, okay, we're going to give you $100 million over a 10-year time span. So $10 million every year. But the money manager is charging a fee on that full $100 million, even though they're not managing that. It was just mind-boggling. Those are some of the things that are going on that a lot of people don't understand. The other problem with pensions that I saw firsthand is the pension boards. These people that are in charge of making decisions on behalf of the pensions. And these people don't know anything about investing. They may have donated a refrigerator to the local, organization or the church or what have you. Or, I did a lot of pension consulting in Hawaii, and a lot of these people they don't have a clue. They're all good people, but they don't have a clue on investing. And so I would be in there to give my update on the portion of the pension that I'm managing. And so often we get together in the quarterly meetings. It's at some nice golf resort, and they look at me and they say, okay, John, it's your turn. You've got 2 minutes because we've got a tea time at 12 o'clock. They don't want to hear any of this stuff. They don't care. I mean, it's just like, it's a debacle. I mean, it's awful. So anyway.